Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a guest star. He's
I'm a
usually the
star.
he's usually the cameraman, but today I've dragged him into the video because we're going to be doing something different today. So usually I share recipes and specific recipes in my videos, but I'm going to be doing more of a comprehensive talk on how you can still make some dishes that you used to enjoy as a non-vegan or non-vegetarian after you become vegan or vegetarian. And also, if you are not vegan or vegetarian, but you just want to try something different, try to incorporate more plant-based food into your diet, how you can still eat basically the same things you're eating by just making some substitutions. So there were a few, things that caused us to think about, having the idea of making this video, and it's mainly because of conversations we've had with our friends and family. So I've only given up meat for around a little bit more than a year. But my husband's been vegan for much more than that. He actually stopped eating meat about 5 years ago. So I'm gonna have him just share a few things with us, and then we can get started.
Ever since I became vegetarian and then eventually vegan after like a year, since then, a lot of my family and friends have been asking me, like, if you're not going to eat what you have been eating for years, what are you going to eat now? So there's a lot of ideas, and being vegan is not about what you can't eat. It's about all the stuff that you can eat now. A lot of dishes involve meat, but it doesn't have to. All the other stuff that is in the dish is not meat, and it's all vegan. It's all vegan stuff. So, like, if you're talking about, for example, a pasta, the way you flavor a pasta is basically with vegan stuff. Like, you put spices, and you may put some sauce in it. You may put some chilies and things like that. Those are all vegan. So we just wanted to make this video and show you that you can still have the same dishes, but you just have to kind of think creatively.
Yeah. So a lot of the conversations that we have with people is people ask us, like, how you have enough protein, like, how do you have enough protein? So usually people say, like, okay, nuts and beans and things. So we don't really want to go into, like, this is why we can still eat a substantial diet as a vegan or a vegetarian. We're not really going to go into the politics of that, but I just want to share some tips on how we can substitute all of the non-vegan products that go in a particular dish and still eat some of the things that we've grown up eating and really love eating, because I just want people to know that a lot of the reason people stop eating, like a lot of the reason that people are hesitant to stop eating meat is because they just love the foods that they eat and grew up with.
And they think they have to sacrifice those things. But it may not be the exact same what you have used to been eating, but it may just be a little bit different. And if you can get used to that, then it's almost the same food.
Yeah. And I think that you can actually incorporate a lot of different foods from around the globe, like, along with just Indian food that, we grow up eating, but we make, like, Mexican food, we make Thai food, Chinese food, and, Italian, but we just make it vegan. And, I honestly think that I've tried so many more new dishes, and I really expanded my palate since we stopped eating meat, rather than what I had before, which you're just so used to eating meat that you just have that all the time that you don't
maybe
really
you just have the same 10 dishes that you eat like every week, but now we can explore so much more.
And I definitely, as someone who's just recently started cooking, I definitely do like doing that. So anyway, we did have some conversations very recently with some family members and friends who they didn't realize some things were available in a non-vegan version, such as ice cream. So we were recently, talking to his cousin who could not believe that a cake that we were eating was vegan, and he didn't even realize that there was such a thing as vegan ice cream. And then I was talking to a friend recently who did not know that tofu was vegan. So I just feel like there's a lot of people out there who, and it's not their fault, it's just because they're just so used to eating what they eat that they don't know all the other things out there. And one thing that I want to emphasize is when we tell people that we're no longer eating meat or dairy products, they're like, oh, okay, so you're going to eliminate those things from your diet, so what are you going to eat? So, anybody who wants to try being vegetarian or vegan, it's not just about not eating meat and eggs and dairy and cheese and things like that. It's not just you're no longer eating that and you're eating everything else that you've been eating. Because most of the time, you're not going to have enough food left over to eat if you just eliminate things. You have to add things to your palate. So you have to start eating things that you didn't eat because you used to eat meat, like tofu and things like that you would not have considered. But once you stop eating meat, you need to start adding those things to your palate. So I really think that it's not just about what you're not eating anymore. It's about also what are you now incorporating in your diet as well.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that concept. I think it's called crowding your diet. You start adding more and more stuff, which is vegan, and then eventually the stuff that is not vegan just automatically goes out because there's only so much you can add and you have to remove something. And what you're trying to remove is non-vegan stuff. That's one of the tactics you can use to start being vegan or vegetarian if you want to.
So we can get started. So what we did for this video is we were actually going to just do like a video log of us going to the grocery store. But now due to the pandemic, we have to wear masks and things like that. So figured it may be easier just to take some pictures of everything in our local grocery store that is completely vegan, that is basically a substitute for non-vegan items. So this is everything that we found in our local grocery stores literally across the street. Although we do live in downtown Toronto, so because of that, we do have access to these things, that are more accessible in bigger cities, but I do think that they're out there and you can definitely find them even if it's not easily accessible to you, because if you really want to try the diet or just want to know about it, then definitely think that it's worth giving a shot. So this is everything that we just walked around and took pictures of. So the first thing that I want to share is always love starting with dessert. So we started with ice cream, and so there's different flavors of ice cream that we saw there.
There's so many brands out there now. Like this coconut one I had never heard of, but I tried it the first time and it was pretty good. Like you can really taste the coconut. And if you like coconut, you'll love this ice cream, and it's the same texture. Like it's melty and it's really cold and creamy, and it's pretty good.
So like you said, if you like coconut, the coconut bliss is a good option. Although if you don't like coconut, you can always go for the other one, which does not really have a coconutty taste. And then also for people who like dark chocolate, this one's a good one as well. Right?
Yeah, this one actually tastes exactly the same as the non-vegan version. It is dark chocolate, so it is maybe just a little bit bitter, but yeah, if you like dark chocolate, you'll love this one, and the vanilla inside is just perfect. All
right, so the next thing is yogurt. So there's different types of yogurt. So there's people who eat yogurt just like that as a snack. I recently made a yogurt snack for you, just using regular plain yogurt, put some berries in it, made a blueberry, homemade type of yogurt thing. So you can always do something like that, but you can also just buy flavored yogurt as well. So we've got, the berries, vanilla, plain. I do want to emphasize the plain yogurt. So I do use yogurt a lot when cooking. So not a lot, but in dishes that require yogurt, I do use this yogurt, the one, the plain one with the brand Silk. It tastes just like regular yogurt. So I actually use it a lot. So I use it in my biryani recipe that I posted online. And I did also use it yesterday when I made a curry as well. So there's a lot of, especially Indian food, I see that a lot of Indian food actually has yogurt. I think that this tastes exactly like it. So it's a really great substitute. So we don't necessarily have to eliminate all of those dishes from our, everyday use, where we can just substitute the yogurt that we use from a dairy yogurt to a non-dairy yogurt. All right, then. So this is just different brands of yogurt that we saw.
Yeah, and there's so many now. You can really choose. You don't have just one option.
Yeah. So and it's really evolved, because there was a time where you could not find vegan yogurt. Yeah. But now not only do you have it, you have different flavors and you have different brands as well. So I really think that's a great thing. This one is made of coconut milk.
Okay.
Yeah, this one, the Riviera brand. All right. I love this vegan spread. It's basically, it tastes just like, to me it tastes just like butter, but I've never
It
been
does.
like a huge fan of butter, so I don't know. But yeah, it's basically like margarine. It's a vegan spread. I definitely use this a lot as well. So like the yogurt that we just looked at and this vegan butter, absolutely
We
my
always have
go-to. Yeah, because there's so many dishes that incorporate
Yeah.
that, right? So just yesterday again, when I used my yogurt in the curry, I also added some butter. So I've used this in a lot of things. So this particular spread I actually use for garlic bread, which I love. So we usually just put some minced garlic, some pepper, and just mix it up, and you know, make it like we usually eat it alongside like pastas and things like that, or salads. It is a perfect spread for that. And you know, that you can get like a pre-made garlic spread, but it's never vegan.
No,
and
it
you
always
know,
has
it's so
milk.
annoying. Yeah, it's just made of
everything
real butter.
always has milk.
Yeah, but I just make this at home, and it really it tastes just the same, you know. And
I mean, it is like a margarine spread, so some people argue that it's not butter, but
it's not, and it's not going to be. So that's the thing. Like, none of these things are. You know, I'm not saying that okay, this meat substitute is chicken. You know, and it's not. So like, people need to drop that idea that it's going to be exactly the same.
It's not going to be.
It's not, but that's the thing. Even if it's like 80% the same, which I personally think it's maybe like 90%. Even if it's 80% the same, I believe that it's worth using this instead of the butter. You know, it's you know, it's almost there. So yeah, definitely recommend this one. Love this one. And then there's another brand as well, which we haven't used, which is called the Earth Balance. Let's see what else. Yes,
milk.
So
that's the big topic. You know, if you don't drink milk, how you're going to get the calcium, how you can get vitamin D. I mean, there's all these plant-based milks, and you can still have your cereal, and you can still, you know, drink your glass of milk if you want to. And, you know, even these milks have the vitamin D that you need, have the calcium that you need. Obviously, they're added, but they're also added in like regular cow milk. So it's basically the same thing. Now you have like a lot of options here. You have like coconut milk, you have soy milk, almond milk, cashew milk. You know, there's so many options. And now we even saw a dark chocolate milk. Like, if you really want to just have a drink that has like healthy, a healthy, tasty drink, you can just grab the dark chocolate.
And then I don't know about other kids out there, but as a kid, I hated milk. I literally hated milk, right? So I would never drink regular milk. Like, my mom would always have to put like some type of like, you know, like the chocolate flavoring in there, or like the strawberry flavoring to make me drink it. And honestly, if you use some of these things, you can still put the flavoring, and it'll taste like the same. Like, kids don't like, and most even adults do not like the taste of regular just straight up milk, right? Because it's like not that great. There's no real taste to it, right? So like, if you're really making smoothies, let's say, or you're making or you know, what else have we had, like, you know, like shakes, you know. So I could see us, you know, using one of these, putting in some like vegan ice cream, making a shake. So
recently we made that mango shake, right? Like, we got concentrate mango and then used one of these. I think we used the almond milk, and we always use the almond milk with the mango, and it just tastes so good.
Just like a mango shake. Perfect. So, and we also use the coconut milk in your smoothies, the kale breakfast smoothies that we make.
Just put some coconut milk, kale, some berries, and you're good. Like, that's your breakfast.
And a banana. You throw a banana in there.
Banana kale smoothie.
So yeah, you can use really any type of milk. It's definitely, you know, up to them. There are some probably that like almond milk is the most like popular one. That people use. I
think if you want something that is like taste free, it's probably the soy milk.
So I was gonna say that, like,
for like cooking.
So almond milk is the most popular that people like know of. It's the one that people have heard of the most. You know, like, I know that when you stop drinking milk, everybody was like, okay, you can drink almond milk, right? It's like the only thing, but there's just so many things out there. But preferably the soy milk is the one that has like
no taste.
no
like,
taste to it. So
yeah.
especially if you're like cooking with milk, that would be the one. Unless you want to make it a little sweet, then the coconut milk is really good as well. Okay. Oh yeah. I didn't take a picture of this one, but when I'm cooking, I normally use the canned coconut milk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so when you open it up, usually it's divided. Like the cream is at the top, like the thick concentrate, like cream is at the top, and there's like a watery, like half, the bottom half is watery. So when you're cooking something that normally requires cream, right? You can always use the coconut cream that's at the top of, sitting at the top of the, like the top half of the coconut milk can. That works perfectly, and if you want to use the whole thing, you just stir it up and use it. Like I definitely use it a lot in like Thai food. I use a whole can, but if you're trying to make a more creamy like curry or something, then definitely the cream, like the cream of the coconut milk is
it gives a
perfect.
really good taste.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, we just had this one.
Oh yeah. Veggie meatballs.
Okay, so we've never had this before, but when we went, hunting for literally everything that we can take a picture of at this grocery store, I found these veggie meatballs, and I looked at them and I was like, all right, we have to try this. So we grabbed the veggie meatballs.
I think we tried a different brand. It was the Daya brand. But this should taste just the same. Yeah,
so we picked up a different brand, and I was really surprised because I was looking at the back of this just yesterday when I was cooking. I was looking at the nutrition value, and for one serving, which is 3 meatballs, and it came with 12. So one serving had 17 grams of protein. Bam, right there. How are you going to ask me I don't get enough protein, or ask me how I get enough protein? A lot of these things are packed with protein. So just like, regular meat, these have protein. It's just not going to have the fat and the cholesterol that you get in meat.
Yeah. And it had a bunch of other things like the magnesium, zinc.
Oh, yeah. It had like 40% iron.
Yeah.
It was the longest nutritional value that I've ever seen. Honestly, I was very surprised.
Probably the healthiest thing we've
ever bought, yeah. But the 17 grams of protein really got me because people don't know how much grams of protein that you really need in a day. They think that you need a lot. You really don't. It's based on like your body like mass, but that's actually quite a good amount in to have in one serving. So I was really pleasantly surprised with that one. So I actually used these veggie meatballs and I put it in like this Indian curry base to make like a popular dish in India. It's a kofta. It's a kofta curry. So when I saw this, I was like, 2 things come to mind. You can either put it in spaghetti or I can make it like a kofta curry. So I was like, I had to try this kofta curry. So that's what I made.
And it was pretty good. Like it was really good.
Yeah.
Because all the spices and tastes we used to have like as kids or in restaurants and stuff. But now you can just make it at home with your favorite like vegan meat.
So another thing I want to point out with these things that people think that since we don't eat out as much, we eat at home more because of our particular like taste. Like we want to eat like vegan, vegetarian food. Like although we do live in an area where we can access a lot of vegetarian and vegan food in our area, but since we're cooking at home, people think that it would take a long time. But really, like if you use some of these pre-made things, it really doesn't take a long time. So sometimes you can do some of these, like this is frozen, so you just keep it in the freezer. Whenever you need it something really quick, you can make just a curry sauce and just put some meatballs in there, and that's done. Like it really doesn't take that long.
Or even if you just put it in spaghetti, like spaghetti is the easiest thing to make, and you can just have
so
this.
easy even you make it, right?
Yeah, all you have to do is boil it without salt.
Please add salt to your spaghetti. Okay. All right. So, yes. And then we saw some of the chicken tenders as well, which you've had these before.
Yeah, I've had those kinds. It's like a good light snack, but it's not like a whole meal. It's just like any kind of like chicken tenders. Yeah.
Honestly, like even back when I did eat meat, I was never a fan of just eating meat. So I've never had just meat. Like I hate having just like steak or just like chicken breast or chicken fingers or whatever. Like that was not really a meal to me. Even when I was eating meat, like I have to have it in something. So I usually use these things and I incorporate it in something. So like the picture on here, we're using the chicken tenders is actually in like a roll. And I've actually made rolls like this before. So I would suggest doing that. Even if you like even if you usually do eat like chicken fingers just like that, like before you tried becoming vegetarian or vegan, because I'll be honest, like it's not 100% the same taste, right? And you want to have a little taste in it, and to have a whole meal, I would definitely recommend like using these things in like a salad or a roll or like a curry or something to really get a wholesome meal out of it.
Yeah, the next thing is burgers. Like, you know, these are very popular now. There's like the Beyond Burger, Impossible Burger, and they even have those in the grocery stores. But these are just some other brands you can have. Like, the top one is kind of like imitating like red meat
burger, hamburger, or something. Yeah,
and
then the bottom is more like a chicken burger. And it actually says chicken burgers. So yeah,
that's become very popular too. They spell it like chick and then apostrophe N. If you see that, you know it's plant-based.
Yeah,
I've seen that a lot in different brands too.
And I actually like even the strips that say that as well, like the chicken tenders also say that, because like it's telling you what it's supposed to be, so that you can know like, okay, this is like something that I've had before, or something that I've tried before, and you can just try it. So the veggie burger, I've actually kept these patties in my freezer for like a really quick, like sometimes where I don't feel like cooking or something, or we're not like we don't have too much time and we just want to quickly eat something really great. I've also taken these like patties and just grounded it up and used like the grounded thing in like a roll, if you want to put like kind of like ground beef or something like that. So
and it's very filling too. Like if you just had a roll without this, you may not be full, but it adds a lot of like value.
Yeah, and they have like grounded like meatless meat as well. It's just like I just like to be creative with things. So like I saw the thing in my freezer and I was like, I don't really feel like having a burger, but I'll have a roll. Yeah. Right. So there's that. Okay, so there's the beefless ground that we just talked about. Yeah. So this is another one that I used recently, the chicken strips. Yeah, so the Guardian chicken strips here. Used that recently, and never used that before. I was actually going to look for something that I can substitute for meat in halim. So halim is a popular dish in Pakistan, also parts of India, that uses like ground meat, usually with like chicken or gauche beef, things like that. So it's basically ground meat and a lot of like oats and barley and lentils and things like that. So because of the other ingredients, I knew that if I were to use like a meat substitute, I can probably still get this same authentic taste, because you really it really like overlaps the meat taste in my opinion, like everything else that goes in it and the masalas. So I tried the chicken strips, and I swear to God, it was the same. It was the same thing, and I was really happy with that, because halim is my favorite. A week ago, I would say it was my favorite, and now I can say again, it is my favorite. So it was my favorite. I would love it when my mom made it, and it was actually like a thing where my mom would always make it for my birthday, or she would like always make it to like surprise me, because she knew like how much I loved it. And it's crazy, because after I became a vegetarian, shortly after, she made it, and she came to me and she was like, okay, I made halim. I didn't have time to make it for you before, but I know you're vegetarian now, but if you just want to eat it one last time, because I made it. She was just heartbroken because I would not eat it when she made it. And I, like called her up as soon as I was making this. I was like, Mom, I'm making halim. And I was so excited to see how it turned out. It was so good,
actually. Like, I was so surprised by how good it tastes. And actually, it tastes exactly the same. So it's like, it reminds you of what you used to have, where we haven't had that, or at least I haven't had it in like half a decade now. Before, like when I had recently became a vegetarian, and you would eat like these like
chicken strips and,
yeah.
tenders, and you would say, tastes just like chicken, and I would taste it and I'd be like, no it doesn't, because I was a new vegetarian, so I remember still how it tastes like, and I'm like, no it doesn't. But honestly, like, it's been just a year since I stopped eating meat, and it's been like 5 years since you stopped, right? So it's been like 5 years since you've had Halim. So honestly, I still remember the taste of Halim,
Yeah.
and I can tell you 100%, this is not from someone who stopped eating meat 20 years ago and is telling you it's the same. No, like literally just a year ago I stopped, and I am telling you, the way that I made the Halim using these chicken strips was exactly the same. I don't think anybody
Yeah.
would really have been able to tell the difference.
That should be the next video.
Yeah, I'll definitely make a video of that. I was making for the first time, so I didn't really, think to make a video. I'll definitely do that. So let's see what else is on here. So yeah, it has a lot of things. It's got barbecue wings on here, crispy chicken. Yeah, and we didn't
Literally
even take
anything
pictures
you
of
can
everything.
think of, like like any kind of meat dish you can think of, it's out there.
Yeah. All right, so these are different types of burgers. So I'm really not a fan of like Impossible Meat and Beyond Meat, because I actually don't like I never liked hamburgers. Like I was not a hamburger fan ever. So I just don't like that. So even the imitation meat of that, I just don't like. It's just not my taste. And it was so easy for me when I stopped eating meat. Honestly, I feel like because I've just grown up eating so much vegetarian Indian food and just like vegetables, like I am a lover of vegetables. So these things are like hands down for me so much better than like the Beyond Meat and things like that, or even like regular meat. I would go for black bean patty any day over even a hamburger if I was even still not, even if I wasn't a vegetarian.
And these other ones sound really interesting too, like the sunflower beet, like that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and we haven't tried these, but honestly, it definitely sounds like the quinoa chia, like. And then the thing is, like,
these are like so healthy too. Like
I was just gonna say
like
that
quinoa in a burger.
In a burger, exactly. So I was just going to say that. So the thing is that these beans and the quinoa and like these things, like people ask like, okay, so you're not eating meat, like how are you getting your protein? Like, bam, here's a bean burger, here's a quinoa burger, like. Honestly, like these things have already so much, things jam-packed in there. So definitely recommend that.
And obviously, like if you eat the Impossible Burger or the Beyond Meat, it's not going to be the healthiest thing for you. Just like regular like
fast
animals.
food. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
if
it's like
you're
a
eating
fast
like
food
animal
thing.
meat, it's not healthy for you. Neither is the Beyond Meat. If you eat it every day, you're gonna go sick. Yeah, so like these will be very like on the opposite side. It's still not as healthy as like eating beans and rice, but it'll be healthier than the Beyond Meat.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if I already mentioned this. So my we didn't mention this. So one of the reasons we wanted to make this video was because we wanted to say that you can really eat everything you've already been eating as a non-vegan. Once you stop eating meat or once you become a vegetarian or vegan, you can really still eat burgers. And you can still eat like pizza and stuff, like, so yes, like I'm not saying like, oh, go eat these veggie burgers every single day. Like, don't do that, please. Please incorporate other things in your diet. But,
once in a while. Like,
So once in a while, like even like before, even though we were always health conscious even before we stopped eating meat, so we wouldn't eat fast food all the time. But there were also times where we wanted to just eat some fast food because, you have that craving sometimes. So, you can always just get like a burger sometimes just because you feel like eating a burger. Obviously not every day. But so the main reason for this video is we were saying this like after we're halfway done with the video, that I just wanted to say like when people ask like, what do you eat? Like, okay, literally same thing that you do. Like, I can still eat a burger. I can still eat pizza. I mean, not can. I do. Like, so I do still eat pizza. I still eat burgers and things like that. I just don't eat it the same way. Like, it's not particularly the same thing, but it's the same thing.
Pizza is still a pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and especially these burgers, you can find out in restaurants. So if you're going out with friends, I'm sure a lot of the like urban places will have one of these things, like a Beyond Burger or the Lean Burger. So it's not like you have to always get it from the store and make it at home. just because you want to have a burger. You can just find it out in restaurants. So it's the same price as other burgers. So like there's no like trade-off.
We used to have bean burgers outside all the time.
Yeah.
And in fact, even a lot of fast food places are incorporating Beyond Meat and Impossible Meat now.
Yeah.
So they're, you know, as like the demand for like meatless burgers are out there, there's a lot of people who are
I think
going
they even have like breakfast biscuits now, which are Beyond Meat. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I never had those things. They didn't really taste well to me. But yeah, a lot of people eat those, and now there's a vegan version that you can have.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move on to pizza.
Pizza.
Yes,
just
great
talking
segue.
about this.
All right. So pizza. So this is a frozen pizza, and there's a lot of different, you know, ones that they have here. And these are just a few that we picked up and took a picture of. So there's definitely a lot. There is a pizza place that's just like also just down the street from us that has vegan cheese on their menu. So we actually order from there. We have had this as well, which, you know, you don't prefer this one as much as that
I think
one.
I like the crust better in the one we ordered.
But then honestly, like even a cheese pizza, like freshly made, is and a frozen cheese pizza is not really going to be a comparison. So I do think that these are still good to have in your freezer for those days when you just want to have some pizza, just want to eat some heat up, you know, some frozen pizza in the oven. But you know, living in the city, even we're, you know, just down the street from a pizza joint that also has vegan cheese. So that's
oh yeah, these are like some ready-made bowls. You know, you get was like a big, or maybe there is still like a big trend of people buying these and just having it for a meal. You can just pop it in the microwave. 2 minutes later, you have your lunch. So if you're like running late to work or something, not that you're going to work anymore, everybody's working from home, but yeah, these are great. I haven't had this personally, but we were just looking in the store and we found this and it was like, whoa, that's interesting. Because I've had the non-vegan version when I was non-vegan, and they were so convenient, and now you can still have the same convenience in a vegan version. And it's one of the things that people say, okay, just eating meat is just so convenient. There's so many options out there. And these options are now coming out. Like, this is just as convenient as the non-vegan version. Yeah. You can have your burrito or a bowl.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that's the thing that, you know, this is not something that you're going to eat every day. But even a vegan has those, like, days where it's like, I just don't want to, like, cook today. Or I just, you know, I'm really, like, in a time crunch or whatever. And you just want to, you know, just heat up a frozen dish in the microwave and sit in front of the TV and stuff your face, right? So you can still do that.
And this has 13 grams of protein. There you go.
And this one has 15 right there, right? So that's
I think that one has beans too.
That one has beans. So and then the burrito is like a great like breakfast as well, or you know, a lot of people have breakfast burritos, so like those are a great go-to for that. So, and then again, these are just a few that we found out of so many different ones that they had. We just picked up a few that we found interesting. So okay, let's take a picture of these. But I think overall there were a lot of options, and that might be because of our location as well. But you know, just want to show that these are out there, you know, for people who I think that if you're looking for something, you will find it. Honestly, like we were watching a video today where somebody was talking about how they used to be vegetarian, but then they quit because they were living in Europe for a while. And
they couldn't find vegetarian food.
They couldn't find vegetarian food in Europe, and it's like, that's a whole country, and I'm sure there's vegetarian food. It's a continent. It is a continent, sorry. So I'm sure there's vegetarian food.
Europe is like one of the most well-developed continents. Like all the countries there are so well-developed that there's no way you can't find vegan or vegetarian food in restaurants or even in grocery stores. That is just impossible.
Like, you know, another thing we were talking about earlier is like, I completely understand if we as people who don't eat meat, when we would go out with some friends, like maybe like they picked a place that wasn't so vegan friendly, is be completely okay. Like we'll order what we can, we eat what we can, right? But even that, like it's always an option. Like you'll always find something. Like there's always at least something on the menu, even if it's just a salad, that you can have. And I just feel like people just put the word convenience on, so much on things like that. Recently we were watching that speech where people where that guy was talking about there's 4 reasons people choose not to go vegan, or they think it's too hard, is because of convenience. And one thing was habit, right? But I personally think that habits can be changed. Yeah. Right? If days. You do it in 21 days. That's how you started, right? Yeah. You started a 21-day challenge for vegan.
It's a 22-day challenge, so you get to day 22 and your habit is broken.
Yeah. So you can definitely break a habit if you try hard enough. I really think that the convenience thing is not really an argument anymore, because it's just become so much popular that even at fast food places you can find, these things that are vegan. So so I really don't think a convenience thing is an issue anymore. Another thing that the other two were tradition and taste. So like I talked about earlier, is tradition. Like I grew up eating halim, you grew up eating halim, and when we stopped eating meat, yes, that was something that we gave up, and we knew we would be giving that up. But, for us, it was worth it, right? Because, we still have other traditions that we're going to keep, from our parents. But I realized that once I started experimenting with different Indian foods, I realized that I could still keep these traditions of these foods, just tweak it around a little bit, right? So, and then the fourth thing that he was talking about was taste. Yeah. Right. So it was habit, convenience, tradition, and taste. So with the taste thing, come on, if you use the right spices and if you know what you're doing, I feel like you can really make a good, delicious tasting dish.
Yeah, I said this in the beginning, the taste part of a dish is mostly vegan. Spices are vegan. Oil is vegan. All the things that you add to a dish other than the meat is mostly vegan. Like yogurt, I can understand, yogurt may be hard to find. But you can still find it, and you can still have the same tasting dish with yogurt in a vegan version. So
I will say one thing that some people's version of taste is just slapping melted cheese on everything. Right? But honestly, that's not very good for you. So if you're doing that, please stop.
Should stop. Anyway.
But I just think that the reason I named my channel Easy Vegan Foodie, I picked those three things very specifically because I'm talking about vegan food and I'm sharing recipes that that are vegan, but also very easy because I just started cooking not even a whole year ago. So if I am to be teaching somebody something, it has to be very easy because I would not know it if it was not easy because I'm a very new cook. So my recipes are easy, they're vegan, and I am a big foodie. I like to think so. Right. So I ever since I became vegetarian, I'm not going to stop eating things that are good and tasty. No, I'm just incorporating other things into my diet. But in fact, I always grew up eating vegetarian food, which I love. So it wasn't as hard for me. But you can still eat delicious food. I feel like. And even if you're a foodie, you can still do that. I think. Yeah.
All the food that you've made in the last year has been so good. I probably had the best food.
So, one thing that I was talking to you about a couple of days ago was I came across this forum, and this girl was talking about how she was a vegan and then she stopped being vegan, and she was talking about how she was vegan for a year. And then she stopped being vegan, and the first dish that she ate that had meat in it was the best thing she has eaten in the whole year that she was vegan. And I just stopped reading right there. And when I was talking to you about it, I was just I just want to know what this girl was eating.
For a year.
What were you eating for a whole year that it did not compare to a meat dish at all? Because, come on, how many things that we make? We make burrito bowls, we make pastas, we make, Thai food, we make, noodles, so many good, different varieties of food. And I don't know how none of that can compare to
Yeah,
even like a steak,
like,
you know, that I don't know what like meat that she had like after she started eating meat again, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just about education, right? If they explore and talk to other people and find out what other vegans are eating, then it's just like about awareness.
Yeah.
And I think this video is really kind of showing that there's so many things out there. And there's so many things to choose from that you'll probably run out of options. You can't, if you even had one of these things, one per day in the entire week, you still would have so much more.
Yeah. And honestly, like the things that we're showing today are just substitutes.
Yeah, these are
just meat and like substitutes. We talked about dairy substitute and a butter substitute, meat substitutes.
Yeah.
I'm not even going into vegetables.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want me to do a video on vegetables, I can do like multiple videos on vegetables because I use vegetables on so many dishes, and I rarely use these actually.
Yeah, we rarely buy these things because it's so much better to just make the food yourself because it's healthier, it's fresh, and it tastes better.
Yeah.
These are convenience. These are convenience foods, basically.
But see, honestly, even if we ate meat, it would be in the freezer and we would take it out of the freezer and we would defrost it and make it, right? So it's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, like when I was growing up, we never ate meat every day, right? It was not something that we did because, you know, there's so many like varieties of vegetarian Indian food. My mom made meat maybe once a week or so. Sometimes a little bit more because my brother can be really really picky about vegetables. So, you know, sometimes more. But yeah, like maybe like once or twice a week when the rest of the foods that we ate was vegetables. So, you know, I tend to do the same thing. So maybe once a week I will make something using one of these things. And then the rest of the time I would make vegetables, use vegetables to make like, you know, food. So, yeah, same thing. But it also really depends on like what you like to eat as well. But yeah, so basically the point of this is that you don't have to eliminate those foods from your palate. You can still incorporate them. Yeah, so that's the reason where we're talking about this in particular. But if we're talking about everything that you can eat, like we have not even talked about any of the other foods that we could possibly, you know,
basically
eat.
Literally everything else.
Yes,
right?
Yeah. So yeah, one thing that we like to joke about is that, you know, people ask like, oh, so what are you going to eat if you don't eat milk, dairy, cheese, you know, eggs? And we're just like...
Everything else.
Everything else.
Yeah.
Literally everything else we eat, right?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are not eating everything else. They're just eating these subset of foods, right? And we are not making decisions based on what we shouldn't eat. We're making decisions based on all the stuff we can eat, and there's just a million things out there.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be a vegan and you say that you're a vegan and you only eat salads and drink smoothies and you want to survive off of that and fries and potato chips, you're not going to survive on that. And then you're going to get sick, and then you're going to start eating meat again, and you're going to say, oh yeah, I tried being vegan for a year or, you know, a month or whatever, and it just didn't sit well with me.
Didn't work out.
Or it didn't work out for me, or it wasn't great because like I was sick and things like that. But I just want to say, like, it is rarely that you're going to become so sick on a vegan diet if you're really incorporating everything that you can. Right? But if you were just going to stick to things that you used to eat before and not start eating other new things, then I'm sorry. Like, not only are you going to hate the food because you're going to get sick of it, you'll get sick of eating the same 5 foods every time, right? So not only are you going to get sick of the food, you're just not going to be happy. For me, again, I'm a foodie. I am happy when I eat good food. Like there's times where I like jump up and down because I'm so excited about like this good food that we're about to eat. Like that, it just makes my day. Like I live for dinner.
Yeah,
I literally do. So yeah, like I just feel like people need to think about that. Yeah. Okay, enough about my love for food. All right.
Now we
desserts again.
Yes.
All right. So this store that we go to, which is just down the road, I swear it has like 10 different like flavors of vegan cake. Like there are so many types of vegan cake. Like when we went for our anniversary, I was gonna get a cake and we were looking, and I'm just like, oh my god, they have, you know, cheesecake, and they have like espresso cake, and they have like fudge cake, and they have like, you know, all these different types of cakes. And we just took pictures of like,
these are just like there's four here, but there was like at least 10 different things
over there. Yeah.
In that fridge or freezer.
Yeah. So we have fudge cake. This is one we've tried.
Yeah.
Which is more of a dark chocolate taste. You're always gonna get a dark chocolate taste in vegan. Yeah. So I'm not really a fan of dark chocolate, so didn't love that one. But I swear that vegan cheesecake that I made for your birthday, I have not forgotten about it.
We haven't tried this cheesecake, but she made the best cheesecake, so we don't even need to try this one anymore. And that was so good, like raspberries and coconuts, and there was just so many healthy things in there. It wasn't even a dessert anymore. There was no cheese, obviously. It was so good in all aspects.
Yeah.
We put a picture here, and it just looks so good.
So, like I was saying, I'm not a fan of dark chocolate. So people who are like, yeah, I don't like dark chocolates, I don't like the vegan chocolate cake.
Yeah.
But there's so many other options. So, we haven't tried this blueberry cheesecake, but I'm sure that it's good.
Yeah.
The raspberry cheesecake that we made was amazing. So, and again, the thing about dessert is people love dessert, but then people are also conscious about dessert sometimes, if they're on a diet or something, because it's just so sweet and it just has so many calories and stuff, right? But for instance, the cheesecake that I made, it had so many nuts. I put dates, I put almonds, I put cashews, right? Raspberries, berries are great for you,
and barely any sugar.
No sugar. I put zero sugar.
A little bit of maple syrup.
Yeah, just a little bit of maple syrup.
Yeah, but that was very minimal.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even overly sugary and sweet and stuff, but it was a healthy breakfast.
Which I'm sure you can add sugar if people like sweet stuff. I personally am not a big sweet tooth, so I just thought it was perfect the way it was. But you can make it a little bit sweeter. So it had all of these nuts and berries and coconut, and I just feel like all of those things are healthy. So I'm not gonna feel bad. I'm not that I feel bad eating dessert. And people always tell me I gain weight, but they're here. You're honestly it's so crazy.
You did gain weight though, right?
I did. That's what I was about to say. It's so crazy that growing up, I've always been really skinny, right? So these aunties would just stop me and be like, "You're so skinny, you need to eat a hamburger." I swear, the amount of times I have had someone tell me to eat a burger, or I would be standing there, and my mom would be standing there, and they would tell my mom in front of me, "Can you feed her a burger and pizza?" And I'm just okay. I eat, and back then I did eat those things. So it's I eat those things. I just don't, gain weight. But it's crazy because after we got married, I started. I gave up meat right when we got married. And after we got married, I actually gained weight.
Yeah.
So not a ton of it, but before I would not even gain a pound. So and it's just so crazy to me. And I think it's because I've just incorporated all these different types of foods into my diet now. And I think it's just really I'm just eating a good variety, balanced diet. And I think that's a big thing because a lot of people, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of people, they have meat on every dish that they have throughout the day. So they'll have bacon and eggs, right? And then they'll have maybe a turkey sandwich or chicken nuggets or something for lunch, and then they'll have a steak, or they'll have spaghetti and meatballs, or lasagna or something for dinner. So it's they'll always have some type of meat, and that's just the norm, right?
Yeah.
But that's just that much cholesterol that you're ingesting every single day. I feel even from a health perspective, we stopped eating meat due to animal cruelty reasons. But if I'm coming at it from a health perspective, I would just like to tell people okay, maybe tone it down and have it every other day, or how we used to have once a week or so growing up. It really makes a difference.
There's meatless Mondays you can try. So every week Monday you can just not have any meat, or any meat or dairy. Yeah, and dairy especially, like it's not that great for you.
It does. It really causes acne and things like that as well. So, and then a lot of people are lactose intolerant,
exactly.
which is funny. A lot of times when we watch like things about like veganism, and they talk about how like of course you're lactose intolerant. You're not a baby cow.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not. Your body is not meant to drink this milk.
Yeah.
And honestly, even when I used to drink milk, I despised whole milk. I despise it. It was just like I don't know. It's just like my body just could not handle it.
You can't digest it.
Yeah,
it's not that great for you.
But I just feel like if you like we were talking about earlier, like if you remove milk or at least whole milk from your diet, and if you use milk for like your breakfast smoothies or something like that, and if you just start using
coffee.
or coffee, and if you just start using like soy milk or almond milk or something instead, like you will really, after a while, you'll really feel a difference in your digestive system as well. Which and I've always had like vegetables before, but I really feel like the more like I've started eating more vegetables and vegan food, I really noticed like a change in my like digestive system as well, which is great. All right. What else do we have? Oh, you wanted to comment about the brownie bites.
Yeah, these brownies, it's just a very small thing, but it's like, it's all free. So basically any kind of allergy, if you have some kind of allergy to any of the things we talked about, like milk or nuts, then this is a great option because, it's safe food and it's vegan, obviously. So
I was actually really surprised when I looked at this because if you look at it, it says no dairy, no eggs, no wheat, no soy, no peanuts, no tree nuts, no. So I'm just like, what is in this thing? we did not know what was in this. So it was, we looked at it, it was like water and some other things.
Water cakes.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, but it's very interesting because even people that are like allergic to a lot of things have that option to get a dessert now.
Which is great. That's why we decided to take a picture of that one. That was great. Okay, tofu. All right. We love tofu. So, tofu is something that is pretty popular. I think, a lot of people know about tofu. Like, if you haven't tried it, definitely do. Right after you stopped eating meat, like when I was still eating meat, we started eating so much tofu. So when we started going out on dates and you were not eating meat anymore, and some of our favorite restaurants are like Thai food places and Chinese food places, and it's amazing because there's always like the option of just getting like vegetables, like a vegetable fried rice or something. But sometimes you want something different. So like we always had like tofu curry or something, and that's always like a great option. So next time you go to like a Chinese place or a Thai place, try their tofu curry maybe instead of their chicken curry. It's definitely a great taste. It's not the same as chicken, obviously, but definitely I think it's worth trying.
Yeah, and there's so many different kinds too, and there's different consistencies too. So if you're buying it in the grocery store, maybe you like the firm one, or maybe you like the really soft tofu. It just depends on what dish you're making. And there's apparently like different flavors too, like pre-marinated for you.
Yeah, this one is the one that we get. So another thing I wanted to talk about, since you talked about textures, there's so much variety in tofu.
Yeah.
Right? So tofu is like almost as if it were like, like how even if you have like chicken, you have different varieties of chicken, right? And different consistencies, right? So you can have like shredded chicken, or you have like something that's like, different types. So I just feel like if you've had tofu, maybe you've had it once and you're like, yeah, I've tried it once, I didn't like it. Maybe try it again, right? Yeah. Maybe try a different type. Like even in the in Chipotle, when we have Chipotle and we have
that one is the best.
Yeah, we have the soy
sofritas.
The sofritas. Yeah, that's tofu, right? So, but it's just ground. Yeah, it's ground tofu, and it has like the Mexican spices. So it's kind of resembling like ground beef. When we have like ground beef in tacos and stuff like that. So yeah, that's tofu. But the big blocks of tofu that you'll find in like a Thai curry is also tofu. So I just want to tell people that maybe you've had one type of tofu but not another. Maybe just try it again in a different like way. Don't rule it out just yet, you know.
Yeah.
So definitely I live for tofu, you know. Because I really don't like imitation meat. Like I'm not a fan of imitation meat. So definitely love tofu, and this is not like a substitute for anything, but like falafels, like tofu and falafels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I definitely try to incorporate those. Yeah, going back on the tofu, these are pre-marinated, so they have like a Tex-Mex tofu that you can like, you know, cut up and eat in like your burritos and your tacos and stuff. Then they have the Indian tofu. So I actually used this Indian tofu before. I don't use the Tex-Mex tofu because there's another thing I use for when I make like Mexican food, which we'll go over later. But this Indian marinated tofu, I love it. So I actually made like a butter chicken style, like chicken tikka style type dish, you know, a long time ago. Which I need to make again. Yeah. And maybe I'll do a video of that one as well.
Yeah.
So I use this Indian marinated tofu, but you know, you can also marinate your own tofu as well. So a while ago, before we moved here, remember we made Thai food and you marinated your tofu. Yeah. So when we made Thai food at home, we just got regular tofu and we marinated it at home. But this one, I just saw the Indian marinated one, so I just got it because it was just easier, right? Yeah. So, you know, looking at the convenience of it. So, you know, I used this in place of chicken, and I made like a butter chicken style thing. I used the vegan butter spread we saw earlier, and the yogurt that we saw earlier, and incorporated this into like a butter chicken type dish, which, you know, that's something that we did not think that we would eat again after we stopped eating meat. But so like again, these are things that you can really still incorporate your like traditional like foods that you grew up eating and loving. You just have to do some substitutions.
Right.
So that was definitely a great hit as well.
Yeah, these next ones are, I don't know what you call them, smart dogs. I think that's one of the things people call it.
Smart dogs.
Smart dogs, yeah. They're good.
Like veggie sausages.
Yeah, exactly. If you like sausages or if you liked hot dogs, you can still have them. You can still buy a hot dog bun, buy some of these, and then have it for like breakfast or maybe like a lunch or something.
Yeah, or just like a fast, like on the go, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thing.
And they're like all pre-made. They already have the taste. Some of these are even smoked, so they do like a smoked bath.
Yeah, they have like that smoked, like
barbecue
the taste to it. Yeah. So the ones that we took a picture of is we have a Mediterranean smoked sausage here, a veggie sausage, sorry, and a smoked apple sausage, and then we have a Italian. So that's another great thing about being you know, in the city, where like not and that's the thing, like back a couple years ago, or like, you know, 5 years ago even, if you go to the store, maybe you'll see one, you know, type of veggie sausage, right? But now not only do you see a veggie sausage, but you will have different brands, you have different flavors. Like, okay, veggie sausage, you say, you want Italian, you want Mediterranean, like you want just like a regular, like what do you want, right? So that's what I love about it, is like people and then like I was saying earlier, it's like these things, like, yes, they're available here because we're in the city, but I'm sure like even some of these are in other places as well.
Yeah.
But people just don't notice them because, you know, they would walk right past these because they're so like focused on, all right, this is my grocery list. I have to get like a chicken breast. I have to grab some hot dogs, this, that, and just, you know, put it in their like cubby and go. But they don't, you know, stop to see like, hey, like what is this thing? So again, when we had a friend who asked if tofu was, you know, vegan, or when you had, you know, a family member who didn't know that there was non-dairy ice cream, because, you know, people usually go in the ice cream section, they pick up their favorite ice cream and they leave, but they don't look at like, hey, what is this? What is non-dairy? You know, they don't look at those things, right? So it's just also about like these things are out there. Right? So if you're even considering, you know, trying vegan for a while, or just incorporating more plant-based stuff in your diet, these things exist. Go look for them. Go find them.
Yeah.
You know, please do, because I don't want you to give up ice cream. You know, ice cream is wonderful. Like I don't want you to give up, you know, chocolates and things like that. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
People feel like, you know, if it's so hard to become vegetarian or vegan because they have to give up so many things, right? But you really don't. Like, I feel like you really don't have to give up a lot.
Right.
Yeah. Of like their things that you usually eat. So, let's see. Yeah. So here we've got different types of meats again. So you have, this is more like sandwich meat. So I threw in the veggie pepperoni in there, but you have bologna and veggie turkey and veggie ham. They also had like salami and you know, for like
I think a lot of these things we never even
I
tried.
was about to say, like, we really grew up eating more Indian food and then like maybe fast food if we went out. So like really didn't have a lot of these things like bologna and stuff.
Like
Also, I'm pretty sure that bologna is pork. Well, we we never had pork. We never tasted pork since it's against our religion. So like, you know, I don't really know about half of these things. So I can't tell you if this sausage is gonna taste exactly like a hot dog or not, because I've never had pork in my life. You can, you know, use these
I've tried
sandwiches, the veggie turkey.
Yeah, and it's good. It's you have to like realize it's not a turkey.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the
so
same. You don't want it to be a turkey.
And it tastes a little different. Exactly, but you also have to cook it a little bit differently. Maybe with a turkey, you would have to like cook it more, but with this, I think it's made of like wheat or maybe soy. You have to cook it a little bit less.
Yeah, and I think for most of these things you would, because a lot of these are already like pre-made, right? Yeah. So if you were to get a pre-cooked turkey slice, you really don't need to cook it. Yeah, you're not. It's not like you're making like a whole turkey like for Thanksgiving that you need to put in the oven, right? This is like really just like slices.
Just warm it up.
Yeah. So I'm sure like I didn't eat it too much, but when I did eat meat, like I would sometimes just get like pre-packaged like turkey slices and just make like turkey sandwiches at home. So I think in comparison, because we're not, and that's one thing where it's been like tough for me, because I didn't used to cook before I was a vegetarian, and I started cooking later. But I have seen my mom cook meat, so I know like, okay, you have to like marinate the chicken, and you have to like, you know, cook it or whatever. And with these things that I get to make the same type of dishes, like the tofu that I got to make the butter chicken, like when you're making regular butter chicken, you start by cooking the chicken, but this tofu is already like kind of like already pre-made. You just have to kind of fry it up a little bit, right? So it's like you really have to keep that in mind if you're going to substitute it. Same thing when I made the halim, when I used like the frozen like chicken strips, like those were frozen chicken strips, like they were already like kind of made, right? Like I can't take that as like raw chicken and use it that way, right? Like you have to keep that in mind. So yeah, it's going to be a different technique of making things. Yes, I love this one. So this is like a ground beef type thing. So you have the original, which is just like regular ground beef substitute, which you can put in anything. I think the picture here is like a meat pie or something, like a shepherd's pie or something. We don't eat, like, we've never had stuff like that, so I don't know.
I have no idea.
I think that's like a meat pie. Okay, so then we have the Italian, like the Italian flavored ground beef substitute. So that one here, they have like a picture of like spaghetti or like pasta. This is the one that I used, the Mexican veggie ground. Love this one.
Yeah, that
love
one
this
is
one.
really good.
Yeah, I do add a little bit of spices. Like I do add taco seasoning because I want it to. Because when I make it in a taco, I do want to have that like taco taste. So I do add some taco seasoning in there. But it's also like already kind of like a Mexican flavor, so I don't add too much. So I definitely recommend like trying it before you add more flavor. Like we have a higher like spice palette, I think, so I do add more things in it. But yeah, you can always just start with the regular, like completely original one and spice it up however you want to, or you can go with like the Italian or the Mexican one if you want something already kind of spiced, and then you can just go from there. But yeah, and then the Mexican one that we had was I think pretty close to the one that we have at Chipotle.
Yeah, it was.
All right. So I do want to say one thing. So like this, the Mexican ground one, I actually using these in a lot of things. So you have like tacos and burritos and like burrito bowls, or like I even make just like loaded nachos.
Oh yeah.
Right. So when we have like Tex-Mex night, like I've got like a variety of things that you can we can eat with that. So again, like you can still have fun with that, it's really it doesn't really like limit you a lot. Like you just have to, especially when you're making a dish, and that's what I love is I make dishes that have maybe a little bit of meat in it, and I just substitute the meat and I keep everything else. So when you're making like a burrito bowl, you just substitute the ground beef or whatever for this, and everything else is still the same. So you still have the pico, you still have the salsa, which gives it the flavor.
Right.
Right, and you still have like the toppings, whatever, like the fajita veggies that you put on there, and things like that, and then you have like the rice. So you still get all of those flavors. And when you're eating a burrito bowl which has meat, the flavors are not coming from the meat.
No.
And that's the thing, right? What you said, like the flavors that you're eating are not coming from the meat. So substituting the meat is not going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, it'll still taste.
Yeah, it'll taste exactly like a burrito bowl, right? Or just like a taco, just like a burrito, or whatever you make with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are trying to say like, hey, my favorite food was steak when I was not a vegetarian, and now I want to have steak. Like, no, I don't know if I can give you a substitute for that. That will be like
maybe something that
will taste exactly
like
the same. Yeah,
like steak sauce. It's probably vegan.
Yeah, but steak is just such like a big block of meat, and that block of meat is not going to be the same taste, right? Yeah. So if you're going to go about it that way and say, oh, it wasn't the same, but what I like to do is like I usually incorporate, like when I made like the butter chicken without chicken,
Yeah.
Like those type of things. The curry is what makes it flavorful.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So the same thing as this is you have to do that.
Yeah.
All right, again, we can't really comment on this. Smart bacon. I've never had bacon. So we can't really say.
But it looks interesting, like I don't know if it looks exactly
you
the
said
same,
you wanted to try it because we've never had bacon. You wanted to try the smart bacon, right?
We should try it. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And then there's, again, smart tenders, which, I haven't tried this one, but I've had some other brands. And these look pretty interesting. I want to definitely try the smart bacon.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Cheese. Cheese. Okay, so again, if you're going to, if you're one of those people who just like puts melted cheese on everything and you want to try that with this one, I mean, you can give it a try, but it's not going to be the same, right? And honestly, don't do that. So, this is more, like,
even this is not the healthiest thing to eat. It's
so
just on
you're basically substituting regular cheese for vegan cheese, but it's still not the healthiest thing you can have.
Yeah.
But again, it's like a good comfort
gives you that
food.
taste.
It's a comfort food, right? Like mac and cheese is a comfort food, pizza is a comfort food. So you can still have those things like grilled cheese.
Yeah.
That you can still have that. You just are using a different type of cheese. So here we actually found different types of cheese and different what do you call this, like
texture,
consistencies. I don't know what they're called. So we have shapes. Okay, so we have shredded cheese, and then we had like the slices, like the mozzarella, the type 1, and then the cheddar type 1. So we have sliced cheese, and then we have the shredded cheese, and then we found some blocked cheese as well.
Yeah.
So this one's actually like a smoked Gouda flavor. I've never had Gouda, so I can't tell you if that's like gonna be the same or not. But I believe you've tried the one of these, right?
Yeah, I've tried the cheddar.
Cheddar.
It's good. I like it.
I used to put it on your sandwiches.
I think the pizza comes with the mozzarella, so I've probably tried that. As well.
Yeah.
So
we've tried both of those.
Yeah.
I was never a cheese fan, honestly. Like, for people who know me, like, I don't like melted cheese, which
Yeah.
you probably know that by now with my rant on how, like, bad melted cheese is in the past, like, few things. But yeah, people who know me know I do not like melted cheese, so I don't put, like, cheese on my nachos or on, even, like, on my tacos and stuff. Like, I've never put, like,
No, I
cheese.
think that's plastic. That literally tasted like plastic.
Yeah, but I never did that. I just hated that. The only thing I used to eat melted cheese on was pizza.
Yeah, me too.
And I never liked, you know, people just eat like cheese, like string cheese, or just like bite cheese.
I think
like,
I used to do that.
I hated that.
I used to do that.
I'm not like missing cheese at all.
Yeah, but it does take a while
for, like,
to. It does take a while to like quit cheese.
So what else do we have there? So we also have the creamy spread.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cream spread. It's like sour cream kind of substitute, and
which
I
also
tried that.
I don't like. So
yeah, we haven't tried.
I'm
this,
not like you know, creating.
It's an option. Yeah, if you like it, if you like sour cream.
Yeah, definitely.
This could be a good option.
So they had the regular one, and then they had like the
onion
one, chive and onion one. All right, I think that was the last of it. So yeah, so these are just substitutes that you could use. So yeah, I have used some of these. So like the meatballs I used in the meatball curry I made. The cheese, the chicken strips I used in the halim.
Yeah.
And then I've used the tofu. So I've definitely incorporated a lot of these things. And then in my Mexican food, I use that. So yeah, I've definitely used a lot of these things. I do really love the yogurt. I feel like it tastes like exactly the same. Honestly, like I'm very surprised. Like for a lot of these like meat substitutes, I'm gonna tell you like it doesn't taste the same, right? But for that yogurt though, I'm telling you, it's the same. And I hate regular yogurt, so I hate this just as much. So if I hate it just as much, it tastes just the same. Okay. So yeah, it tastes exactly the same, and then even like with the margarine spread.
Yeah, that one is exactly the same.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. So yeah, definitely incorporate some of these things. So a lot of these things are like substitutes for meat, which I would say is harder to do. So like, okay, I'm talking about those people who are not vegan or vegetarian right now. So if you're not vegan or vegetarian, you're really used to eating meat, it'll be hard to try to substitute these meat things, and they're not gonna always taste the same.
Yeah.
But honestly, for some of for these like dairy substitutes, like the yogurt, the soy milk and the almond milk and stuff like that. And even, the cheese, like I would say like, hey, dairy is not the best for you. And then, and we said we're not going to go into the politics of it, but if you just look up like the dairy industry, it's like really heartbreaking, the way that, they get milk from cows.
Right.
So, and also, forget about the politics of it, just from a health perspective, because we are not baby cows. We really don't need everything that's in milk. It's really not good for you because you're ingesting a lot of things that you don't need, especially hormones, because cows have a lot of estrogen, right? And you're drinking this estrogen, especially if you're a male, you don't want to do that so much, right? Same thing with like even females, like it's gonna like skew your estrogen levels. So and then the acne, and like there's so many health benefits of eliminating dairy. So I feel like, okay, if you take anything from this video and you want to try anything first, definitely try just switching out your regular milk with some almond milk or soy milk in your smoothies and your coffee, or when you're baking a cake or whatever you use milk in, your shakes or whatever that you have. Like definitely just try that. Like that's the one thing that
if you put it in a shake, there's literally you will not notice any difference, because there's other flavors that are going on. You're not just drinking milk in a glass.
And like I said, like most people don't just straight up drink milk in a glass. Like that's not, unless you're like a kid and your mom's like, you gotta drink your milk.
Yeah.
And even then, I always like me and my mom put like some type of flavoring in it. So yeah, but then when I was old enough, I was just like, I ain't drinking that. So again, like I would just highly recommend just starting with that. I think that's the easiest thing to substitute.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can go from there.
Yep.
Right? All right, so if you have found this video to be informative, educational, or just interesting, please do let us know. Especially if you would like us to maybe talk about something else next time around. Like I said, like the main thing we want to convey from this video is just like there's so many different things that you can eat. If you're choosing not to consume any animal products, there's just so many other things out there. So again, this goes for all of you like vegetarians out there who still consume dairy and want to just kind of know what other things are out there. Definitely, I think dairy is the easiest thing to substitute, like we just went over. And then for vegans, if you're a new vegan and you're trying to incorporate some new dishes and add some new things to your like recipes, definitely consider some of these, and you can maybe still make something you used to make before, just substituting it with another thing. So they definitely think that's something you can take from that as well. And if you are not vegetarian or vegan, definitely would just like to encourage still adding a little bit more plant-based stuff in your diet, just from a health perspective as well, if not from like a animal culture perspective. So I just feel like it's a good way to even out your palate.
I mean, next time you're in the grocery store, just maybe you grab the almond milk and try it, or soy milk, and see how it is.
Yeah, definitely. But just don't try it on its own, because it's not gonna be that good. Just like regular milk is not that great, right? So and if you do end up trying something, do let us know. I'd love to know if you try one of these things, especially if it's one thing that I have not tried before, because I would definitely like to learn from our viewers as well. That's our show for today.
See ya.
All right, bye-bye.